Hi everyone. So in this video we are going to study working of a centrifugal governor. We are going to take an example of a Porter governor. We are going to study the construction and working of a Porter governor, and next we are going to study terms used in a governor. First we will study a centrifugal governor, that is a Porter governor. So Porter governor is a loaded type of governor which has central load on the central spindle. We will understand the construction of a Porter governor. The Porter governor consists of two balls of equal masses attached to these two arms. So these two balls are also called as governing balls or fly balls. So these balls revolve with the spindle which is driven by the engine through bevel gears. The upper end of these arms are pivoted to the spindle. The lower arms, which are also called as links, are connected to the sleeve. So the sleeve revolves with the spindle, as well as it can slide up and down on this central spindle. So the sleeve is connected by a bell crank lever arrangement to a throttle valve which regulates the working fluid supply. So this is the construction of a Porter governor. We will understand now working of a Porter governor. So we are going to consider a condition on engine. So we are going to consider a load on engine. So when the load on engine increases, the engine and governor speed decreases, which results in decrease in the centrifugal force acting on the governing balls or fly balls. As the centrifugal force decreases, the sleeve moves in downward direction. As the sleeve moves in downward direction, the motion from the sleeve is now transmitted to this bell crank lever arrangement, and from the bell crank lever the motion is now transmitted to the throttle valve. The throttle valve increases the supply of the working fluid, and hence the speed of the engine and governor increases. So extra power output is provided to balance the increased load. So this is the one condition. Conversely, if we take another condition, we are going to consider load on the engine decreases, means the engine speed will increase. So when the engine speed will increase, so centrifugal force acting on the fly balls or governing balls will increase, and this will tend to move the sleeve in upward direction. When the sleeve will move in upward direction, the motion from the sleeve will now be transmitted to the bell crank lever arrangement and throttle valve. The throttle valve reduces the supply of working fluid, and the speed of the engine now decreases. Thus, as the speed of the engine decreases, the governor again comes to a constant speed. So again the power output is reduced in this condition. This is a working of a centrifugal governor, that is a Porter governor. What are the terms used in governors? So we are going to see what are the different terms which are used in governors. First is height of a governor. So height of a governor is the vertical distance from the center of ball to a point where the axis of arm intersects this vertical axis. So it is the height measured from ball to a point where arm intersects vertical axis, which is denoted by h. Next, second is equilibrium speed. So it is the speed at which the governor balls arms are in complete equilibrium and the sleeve does not move either up or down. Third is mean equilibrium speed. So it is the speed at the mean position of balls or sleeves. Next is maximum and minimum equilibrium speed. So the speeds at the maximum and minimum radius of rotation of the balls without tending to move either in any direction are called as maximum and minimum equilibrium speed. Next is sleeve lift. So it is the vertical distance in which the sleeve travels due to the change in the equilibrium speed. Another one term is R, that is radius of rotation. So it is the radius or length measured from the spindle axis to the center of the balls. So minimum radius of rotation can be for minimum speed, maximum radius of rotation can be for maximum speed. Another term is speed range. So speed range is the difference between the maximum and minimum speed. If we take maximum speed as n2 and minimum speed as n1, so speed range will be equal to n2 minus n1, that is maximum speed minus minimum speed.